raw, unfiltered. So sit back and relax. Melanie P. Talk to him.
With Melanie P.
That's scary with Melanie P. Come on.
Here we go.
That's scary with Melanie P. That's scary with Melanie P. Listen, I had to have made somebody mad upstairs. Literally upstairs. I think I made somebody very mad. Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast, where we talk about any and everything adult, raw, transparent, finances, love, relationships, dating. Listen, I was just recording this episode. I pressed the record button and a light fell on my head. So I've had to start over. Welcome to the show. I think I made somebody mad upstairs. I really do think I made somebody mad upstairs. Throw this whole week away. I'm starting to understand why that lady faked her disappearance. I think I'm starting to understand. I can't even fault her for staging her own kidnapping. I mean, it's sounding really, really appetizing at this point. I think I might stage my kidnapping. I'm joking. I have two daughters, so I need to be here for them. Welcome to the show, guys. Today is going to be me and you having an intimate conversation, rolling with the freaking punches, y'all. We had a guest today scheduled, but life happens. It is what it is. I'm going to go on with the flow. I always start the episodes with a mental health check-in. And you can obviously see that my mental health is for the shits. But listen, I had a really rough week. So as you know, I just came back from vacation. I'm not going to say where we went. It was a disclosed location. But I had a really, really great time. Much needed. I will say we were near an ocean. We were near beach water. So that was really awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I'm not really a beach girl, to be honest with you. I'm more of a cabin in the woods, mountains, cold weather kind of girl. I don't like to sweat. I really don't even know how to swim. Listen, I hate to even admit that. That's one of like the top 3 pet peeves and regrets of like my life is that the fact that I don't know how to swim, but I'm going to learn, especially having a new baby. I want to swim with her and I want to not make her end up like her mom and be that black girl who doesn't know how to swim. It's kind of embarrassing. But anyway, vacation was great. No complaints. I have complaints, but listen, it's vacation. So what can you say? As long as I'm somewhere where I'm off work, I don't really have a lot to say. It felt great to be off work. Came back and it's almost like I came back from vacation and somebody said, "Oh, what? You went and had fun and you were relaxed for a couple of hours? Let me make everything fall on you." And remind you, bitch, of what real life is. I don't know. Ugh, I hate it. But on every episode, I've had like really good mental health conversations in regards to myself. I've had really good, like I'll say, month of like, wow, I'm a lucky girl. My life is really amazing. So nothing's perfect. And here's the thing. When you're going through something, you have to allow yourself to go through it. So it's so funny. Went to dinner last night, and one thing I always do, I find myself doing just because of my personality. When I went to dinner, I always try to like hold a conversation with the wait staff. I like to know about them, where they're from. I'm just always interested. So last night at dinner, our waitress had a tattoo, a fairly large tattoo. She's going to probably regret that, but she had a really large tattoo that said, "Grow through what you go through." And I feel like that was the ancestors talking to me through this white young lady, because My week was rough. It was really, really rough. And as you can see, as this week is coming to an end and I'm walking into another week, it's still kind of rough. I just had a light fall on my head. And if I told you the crazy shit that's happened to me, like in the past week, specifically like the past 48 hours, you would understand why I might need a couple of drinks, but oh my God. But here's the grow through what I go through of it. I'm very blessed to have a circle of people that when life gets tough, I have people I can call on to vent or to give me advice and that advice is never coming from a bad place. It's always with my best interest at heart. And I'm grateful for that because everyone doesn't have that. And I think the older that you get, the smaller your circle gets and the more important the people in your circle are. Because when you get older, you think life is happening at 20, at 30, man. But when you're getting older, life starts to really happen. And you start to go through these things and you really need a support system. So I'm so grateful. I feel like I say that maybe every episode. I'm just so grateful for my support system. And it's tight. I say it's no more. I mean, my support system, I'm going on a tyrant here, but I used to be that girl that was like, damn, I wish I had a bunch of friends, like a bunch of friends. And I've always been the kind of person that no matter how hard I tried, I always had maybe 2 people that was my ride or dies that were like the main people that I hung around. I've never been a large group of friends kind of girl. Now, the key word there is friends. I have a lot of associates, like people like me. I like people. I like meeting people, but a friend, as I've learned in my old age, is something very, very different. So anyway, grateful for my circle, grateful for coming out of this last week alive. Grow through what you go through. So what I did, rough week, came back from vacation and the clouds fell on me, period, point blank, not gonna lie. I went through it. I allowed myself to feel it. I allowed myself to go through it. I didn't want to fake and be like, oh, I'm great. Let me just fake. Because to me, that's just sweeping shit under the rug. I'm not that kind of girl. I allowed myself to go through those feelings, to go through the situations. And when yesterday came, I'm trying to tell you, man, your ancestors and their signs all around you. I was listening to a couple of episodes back. We had, I can't remember her name. Oh my God. But I'm going to tag it below. The Power Within, Yoga Girl. I follow her. I feel like we've become like really close Instagram friends since she's come on the show. Really great girl, great energy. I was listening to her or watching her Instagram and she had a affirmation reel playing. And I remember, oh my God, that's a great affirmation for Black women. So long story short, I got up yesterday morning. I put on my already made playlist of affirmations and positive energy. I felt great. I went for a walk. I went outside in nature. What did Marathi say? Be in nature, grounding. I got outside, went for a walk, allowed the earth to do its thing. And what I'm realizing is that you're only responsible for yourself. Married, not married, booed up, not booed up, parent, not parent, child, mother. You're really only responsible for yourself when it comes to your emotions and how you respond and react to things. And as you grow and as you evolve, things change. And sometimes there's triggers around you and you have to be mature enough to not let stuff trigger you and get you in a sunken place. So I say all that to say mental health, this was a rough week for me, but I am going into this next week extremely positive and I'm only focusing on myself, my mental health, and I'm going to set boundaries and blah, 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 cliche. Okay. So was going to have a guest this week. Things happen. So she, I think something happened with her flight, whatever, but listen, I'm here. You love me. I know you do. I'm going to go through just some random topics, man, that we were going to talk about anyway. We're going to do that episode because actually she's my financial advisor and she has helped me with a lot of stuff as far as like life insurance and as far as like making a budget and having my daughter set up if I happen to leave here. So she's going to come back. But I said, you know what? The show must go on. Listen, I have been doing a lot of like research and stuff like that on podcast, and I came across, well, I listened to the Know For Sure podcast. I know everybody listened to it, blah, 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 but listen to mine before you listen to theirs. I was listening to the Know For Sure podcast with B. Simone and Megan Ashley, and this guy named Milo, and again, I'll leave his information in the description of the show. Milo, he is a podcaster, and I want to say he has a couple of different podcasts, but I think his most popular one is something about money. Get money, make money. It'll be in the description. His show is like one of the top, if not the top podcast shows that's out now. And there are a lot of podcasts out there, obviously, but I have been ODing on any and every show, whether it's his or not, that had him on there because he has been dropping so much freaking knowledge. And I even reached out to him in the DM to take a look at my show because listen, one thing that a past guest said on this show is that, you know, all you need is one yes. And I feel like that's my motto when it comes to my podcast. I just need one yes. You know what I'm saying? So Milo is a podcaster. He's a podcast guru. He spent 20 years in jail, came out of jail, and within a year started a podcast, got a bunch of money, still has a bunch of money, still is growing. And now he's out here teaching other people how to get money, how to podcast. And it's like, damn, I haven't even been to jail. Like, there's really no excuses. And one of the things that he said that I really, really enjoyed, that really resonated with me is that you can't care. You cannot care what people think and what people say. And I think especially like, here's the thing. I'm quite certain he doesn't have a corporate 9-to-5. So, yeah. But here's the thing. When you're doing a podcast and you're giving your opinions are not going to be the opinions of the masses. And so you have to understand that people are going to hear things that you're not saying. People are going to judge you. And it is what it is. And honestly, he was saying that when people start making these crazy comments in your comment and having these opinions and like coming at you, that's when you know that you're winning. And that's when you know that, you know, people are listening. And thank you for the free promo, basically is what he's saying. So I have been ODing on Milo. I'm going to go through some just random topics because I know you're here to listen to what I have to say. And I hope that I entertain you. I am a podcast listener as well. Something else Milo said, right? He was like, everybody is starting a podcast, but listen, you got to stay in your lane. Like, is that really your passion? He was giving examples of, you know, different kind of podcasts that you can have that aren't like, you know, just I'm going to sit here and talk about the current gossip. He was like, you know, you got to stay in your lane. He was like, everybody isn't an entrepreneur. Everybody isn't a basketball player. Everybody isn't a podcaster. Everybody isn't this and that. You got to find your passion and you got to stick with it. And I'm laughing because of a conversation I had with a friend. It's actually an ongoing conversation about trying to find your passion. Love her so much. But I think it's important to find your passion. And listen, it isn't easy to invest money into a podcast, to invest time. Like when I do a podcast, I will record a podcast typically on a Sunday. And that means that Sunday evening, I'm starting to do my edits. The funny thing he said is that, when you get a podcast and you got to build a team, you got to have an editor and somebody that does your thumbnail and somebody that does this. Child, I do this stuff all by myself. Hence why a light just fell on my head because I'm setting up the lights around me. And when that happens, I got to start all over, child, because ain't nobody to pick it up for me. But anyway, you know, he was talking about, you know, the podcast industry and you know, you got to stay in your lane and you got to find your passion and what speaks to you. Because when you enjoy something, it's not like, this is a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a lot of time investment. working a 9 to 5, taking care of a child, doing all these things, and then you're going to add something else onto that in terms of editing and doing all these things, uploading to YouTube. Like that stuff is time consuming. I probably spend, I probably spend another 8 hours, which doesn't seem like a lot. But it's a lot. So when you add working an 8-hour day and then adding on 2 hours out of every night to do your podcasting edits and thumbnails and all that stuff, it's a lot. But when you enjoy it and when it's your passion, it's fun and you enjoy it. Now, do people around you kind of suffer, if you're investing a lot of time into, something else later at night? They do. And I'm sure you've heard the top 10 sex tips from Jason and how he's suffering. But it is what it is. So let me go down some of these random topics that you're listening to today and just give you, my thoughts. So the first thing I wrote down is the soft life, right? So I have been following the hashtag soft life, feminine energy, all these things. And I was listening to Tierra Monet, friend to the show, despite what you say. Not despite what you say, but friend to the show, Tierra Monet. Love her down. And she was saying how, she is tired of people talking about like the soft life and, this luxury life as if, to make it something so foreign to Black women. But I was thinking that, and I don't want to make it a Black woman thing, right? I'll make it a woman thing, but I can only speak from my experience and my experience as a Black woman. Black women and the soft life tend to be going in two different directions. And I think that's why it's such a major thing right now. I don't think it has anything to do with, luxury and Black women just wanting to wear labels. I think you have that lane of soft life. But for me personally, soft life for me is me staying in my feminine energy despite what's going on around me. So funny thing, about an hour or so ago, I'm in this group chat where a couple of friends of mine, or a friend of mine, had sent a story about Monica, the singer, and about how she was at a concert and she saw a man hitting a woman in the crowd at the concert, and she stopped her concert and she turned into a whole thug and was like, you don't be hitting no woman and blah, 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 blah. And I guess the man must have said something. So then she jumps down and she went in on the man. And I was thinking, wow, and this is my opinion, but I'm like, she is in some real deep masculine energy. If you see a man hitting a woman, her voice went to man voice. Her action to go to a man, he's already hitting one woman. Who's to say that he's not going to hit you, right? But I think it goes to this thing of Black women kind of wanting to rescue everyone. It appears in families. It appears a lot in dating. It appears in the workplace, Black women wanting to save people and do everything and wear all the hats. Oh, I don't need any help. I can do it myself. I want us, meaning me included, to kind of get out of that. You know what I'm saying? I have been really bad when it comes to that. And I don't know where that comes from because, as someone said to me, nobody hurt me. I have always been around a bunch of nothing but successful Black, family-oriented, secure Black men who have families, who take care of their families, who are great, calm, energy type men. That's all I've ever known. But I will say, I think that life made me that way, right? Life has made me, I can do it myself type of energy, because I went from my family's home to college to marriage, just like that. And when you're in a marriage at a young age, right, and then your marriage ends at a young age, and then you're out here trying to adjust and adapt, you add a kid into that, you be going through shit and people don't be there for you and you have to make shit happen. And to be honest, it's not just only that people are not there for you. Sometimes you're embarrassed to ask for help, or sometimes, like I said before on another episode, when you're going through a divorce, and people are wanting to see you win, it could be very, very shameful and very, very embarrassing. And you want to be as low key and as like basically just disappear as much as possible and try to like come back out with your life together. So sometimes you don't want to ask for help. So I think for me, in this whole soft life thing, I think I'm in a really, really good place when it comes to like, okay, my finances are pretty good. I have 2 healthy daughters. I have a really good job, to be honest with you. I don't like my job, I don't like it. But I think a part of me doesn't like it because it's teaching me and getting me out of my comfortable zone. But at the end of the day, I have a job, and a good job, a good paying job. And I'm in a place where I want life to be more relaxed. Like, I turned 40. I don't want to be arguing. I don't want to be stressed. I really don't want to be on no masculine energy in any capacity of my life. I want to be fully within my feminine, soft girl era on 1,000. Like, I feel like, especially with having a child, having a baby, I was noticing that, like, normally when I go out, especially pre-baby, like, I'm dressed to the nines, heels, nails, all those things, but I found myself, especially with working remote, I found myself like being comfortable with going out with my workout clothes on, not putting on no makeup, not putting extra, like wearing flats. Now listen, I'm 5'10", but I'm not trying to, I've never been a want to wear flats kind of girl, especially in my like mature woman phase, age. And I have been out here wearing sneakers and flats, like, and not being consistent on my pedicure. No, girl, get it together. You know what I'm saying? And again, life happens. And I think that goes back to the whole soft era thing for Black women, especially. Like, life happens and life can harden you, and like situations can harden you and get you out of your soft vibe. Like, you're born into this earth as a woman, which is another topic. You're born as a woman. You're born most of the time with your feminine energy, and then life happens, and sometimes it can adjust. And so I don't want to be a victim of situation and of, I don't know, hard times, which again, like, I've not had hard times the way maybe some people have had them. But again, I want to go in my soft girl era, right? I think about my mom, right? She was married to my dad for 50 years before he passed. And when he passed, I think she realized how much of a soft girl era she's been in, like voluntarily her whole entire life, going to take out the trash, having to put gas in her car, having to know about car stuff, having to, lift a finger to do anything of a masculine energy. She hasn't done it for 50 plus years. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like coming out of that and coming into what a lot of women's whole life has been, it's a lot. And I look at her and I'm like, wow, she has been a taken care of soft woman era before it was a thing. And that's what I'm trying to be. And that's the example that I want to give to my daughters. That's the example that I want to give to like my nieces and stuff. My mama don't know nothing about tools. I bought a toolbox a couple of months ago, and my friends are calling me like gay. You know what I'm saying? Like joking, like, girl, why the hell you buy a toolbox? And it's just like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the me now would not have bought that toolbox. Now, I would have bought it because I like to be organized, and I do have some tools that I like to have, whatever. It's another story. But I'm really focused on resting back in my feminine energy. And I speak about like, okay, getting your nails done, wearing the heels. Those things sound very superficial, but they're not. Those things are the beauty of a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like putting on a little bit of makeup, putting on a little bit of lip gloss, your, lashes if you want to do that, getting your hair done, getting your nails polished. Those things are the essence of a woman. And when you start to slowly, and this type of thing happens in slow motion. Like, I'm sure that it started with me working remote. Like, okay, well, I'm not I'm not getting dressed to go to work, so I could just put on these workout clothes and then wear these all throughout the day. And I could put a bun in my hair and wear that all day. And then, oh, now I have a baby, so now I'm extra relaxed. Like, though it's a slow progression, but I feel like, again, just like your mental health, allow yourself to have whatever feelings or whatever type of thing is going on, but just don't let yourself stay there. So I'm a very big advocate for soft life, and welcome to my soft life era and journey. All right, so here's something else. So when I was listening to Milo and his podcast, he was on a podcast with this lady, and she made a comment. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Libra. And one thing about Libras is that we thrive in partnerships, and it does not have to be like romantic partnerships. It could be friendships. It could be, relationships, whatever. Libras tend to thrive in partnerships. Now, sometimes that can backfire because we attract partnership, and sometimes people can suck us dry of what we give and then not replenish it, which you got to be careful of. But on this podcast, this lady made the comment that people operate better professionally, personally, just in life when they're in love. And when she said that, I was like, damn, I like that. And that's very true for me, right? So think about it. Like, when someone, like, again, a flash of just random people are coming in my mind, people who don't kind of have love and people who have love, people who yearn for love and don't have it, and people who yearn for love and they do have it. And I'm thinking about people, I wish I could like name names, but I can't. I'm thinking of a person that I know, a guy, single guy, and great guy, has a lot to offer. He's not super short, has a good job, seems to, I feel like he would be a family man if he had a family. I think he would be a good guy to a woman. For some reason, he has a hard time finding a woman. Well, I know what the reason is, but again, another podcast. He picks the wrong women. He's looking for the wrong women. When he is in love, air quotes, right? Again, wrong woman, but he has the feeling of love. He's happy. He's jovial. He's going through life. He's feeling motivated. It backfires because it's not the right woman. So obviously it backfires. But I look at how, and this is very low hanging fruit because I feel like this might be kind of common sense, but it's just a very beautiful and deep concept, because the idea and the feeling of being in love and living your life, you're going to feel motivated to do things that you're obviously not going to feel if you're feeling down in the dumps and you're feeling lonely and you're not in love. But it's the power of love. And as I'm talking, it doesn't even have to be, well, I'm thinking, okay, a friendship love with your girlfriends, right? And a romantic love with your partner. Two different energies. A lot of the energy that comes from a friend love and a romantic love can be the same, but you ain't fucking your friends. You're not kissing your friends. You're not holding hands with your friends. I mean, I like to do it sometimes, but they get mad at me. But like, it's very different. So I'm gonna talk about romantic love. Think about a time when, and I listened to, I have to drop this in the fucking, in the freaking, because in my soft girl era, I'm trying not to curse as much, especially on my podcast. I was watching a YouTube video of this couple yesterday, and they've been married for 2 years. They've been together, I think, for like 6 years. And they never told nobody that they got married because the woman is heavy on YouTube. And so she said that she wanted to keep that for herself, that they had been married for 2 years. They lived together. They did this YouTube video about, just dedicated to love, since they had never told people they were married, but they wanted to do something to dedicate their love to by making this YouTube video. This woman and man both had the same energy. So it wasn't just a woman saying this or the man, both of them was on the same thing. They were saying like, life is so much better with you. How lucky they are to have found each other, because this person brings out the best in this person and the other person brings out the best in the other person, if that even makes sense. they were saying how people search all these people on earth, and people search and search and search, and they never find their person. And I'm like, damn, their person. But they're operating at a higher level, at a higher frequency in life, based on the energy and frequency of them two being together and their love for each other and their love together. Now, no one's saying that, okay, if they weren't together, that they would be somewhere sad and depressed and not being successful. But listening to this couple talk, I mean, again, it's so many fake couples out here, people out here posting, we are so in love, on people talking about how, in love they are. And it's really not true. I feel like people are just, kind of fronting for the gram. And they're not being honest and they're not being genuine. But this couple was an example of, people who honestly aren't doing it for the gram, because they purposely kept their relationship private, because they found their relationship was so sacred that they wanted to keep it personal and keep it to themselves. And so it was just very, very rewarding and very amazing to to just see a couple who is thriving off of their energy towards each other. And it was very genuine. It was very real. I sent it to a couple of friends because I'm like, wow, y'all need to look at this, man, because, this is how it should be. So going back to the comment, people operate better when they're in love. Now, I think the caveat to that is a healthy love, right? You don't want to be in a toxic situation or, a fake love or any of those type of things. But when you're in a genuine in love energy, it does allow you can think about it. You're at work happy. You're at the store happy. You know what I'm saying? You want to spread that. You want to spread the love, because it's not something that everybody even gets to experience on this earth. It's very sad, actually. And then it's like, the people the other end of that. So we can talk about, people who are in love or operating at a higher frequency, they're happy or whatever. But then you think about the people who aren't in love, the people who are lonely, the people who want love and they don't have it. It's just very, very sad to know how just meeting the right person, how that could change your life, and not just change your personal life, but meeting the right person, being with the right person, having the right person in your space, in your energy, in your possession, if you will, because I'm a Libra, how that can just alter the areas of your life. Now, specifically, I feel like she was talking about career-wise. She was like, people who are in love tend to be even more successful. Like, people who are in love are like more successful. And you gotta think about it. Like, when you are in love, there's no drama. So there could be bullshit going on at your job, but that at the end of the day, you're going home to a loving space, a loving environment. You're going home to fucking love, man. That energy, there's nothing like it. Like, love and peace to me are very synonymous, right? So when you are in love, you are at a certain peace that somebody who might not have love or be in love has. So certain triggers, work trigger environments, grocery store trigger environments, road rage environments, just to name some random things, that might trigger somebody who isn't in love differently than somebody who is in love. So I guess the moral to that story is I do agree that, being in love brings out the best in people. Being in love, I could totally agree with her at the fact that being in love will make you more successful, make you, bring out the best in you. But specifically sticking with success, I agree. When you're in love, I think that I could see why a statistic would show that people who are in love are more successful career-wise. All right, speaking of love, I hate to put a damper on it, but hey, it's my show and I'm kind of winging this outline. Not winging it, actually I have an outline, but it's just me talking about things that I've discussed with people this week. So should I name a name? Oh, should I name a name with this one? So I will. Urban Skin Solutions founder, Rachel, whatever. She is a white Jewish lady. She, I guess she just got married this weekend in Italy to her black 6'6" husband, a real estate investor and broker. And I want to first say congrats to them and their nuptials. Very happy, right? And then I happened to see as well that Tank and his wife, they had an anniversary. Congrats to them. And I'm just going to be frank with you. When I saw Rachel from Urban Skin Solutions with her husband, or her now husband, that's a black man, and I'm being honest, all I could think is that, wow, she's getting the black dollar, now she's getting the black man. And I want to say this PSA. I am all for love, no matter how it looks, no matter whatever. But we got to call a spade a spade. And it made me think, like, so many thoughts. You know, I have a friend who is starting a similar business to the one to Urban Skin Solutions. She's going to have her own makeup line, her own skincare products. She has lasers and she has weight loss stuff and all types of things that she's offering with her business. Now, she is a pure black woman. She is a, cornbread, home-fed black woman, I think from St. Louis. And number one, are we going to support her the way we've supported Urban Skin Solutions? Now, initially, when I was thinking about this topic, my energy and my anger which is too strong of a word, was towards Rachel and Urban Skin Solutions, because I'm like, wow, here's this white Jewish lady who is really, to be honest, she's monopolizing on, the black dollar to offer these products. And she's not even a black woman. I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I have bought some of her products. I'm not going to lie. So shame on me whenever, there's a black person that offers the same thing. But it's like, wow, man, like, I can't really be mad at Urban Skin Solutions. I can be mad at us. For any business, if there is money to be made, I feel like maybe you're a fool for not making the money. The issue really probably isn't Urban Skin Solutions, because I will be honest with you. When Urban Skin Solutions first came about and they first were in Charlotte, I was going there getting facials, buying their products, because I really thought that, okay, wow, Urban Skin Solutions, so cool. A black line made by black people for black people. Like, that's not something at the time, especially, that was a thing. And I'm like, wow, this is so freaking cool. So I'm going there. And then I realized, wow, it's a white woman. Like, it's a white woman who owns this. Now, at that point, I did stop going. At that point, I did stop buying her products, but I bought 2 products of hers recently. So shame on me. Is it shame on me? I don't know. But I just feel like, I guess it's really to us, because let's think about it. When my black friend opens up her black owned shop that offers the same thing as Urban Skin Solution, are we going to support her and her come up the way we did Urban Skin Solution? Are we going to support her the same way? There's a lot of celebrities who are her models, who does her advertising. And again, I think the bottom line here is the dollar. So you can't even be mad. Can you? I mean, you can't be mad at the celebrity for getting a check and getting a bag to advertise her products. Now, you can be mad, but just the same way, and shit, I started to say, so I did stop buying her products at that time. I did buy 2 of her products recently because they did work, but I guess we have to do better. I feel like we have to do better with supporting our own. And I'm not saying only support black businesses. I'm really not even saying that. But what I'm saying is, if you have an opportunity to support a black business, especially a small black business, then you really should put that as something that you are responsible for. It should be a low-key responsibility as a black person to try their best to is that the right word? Patronize? Oh, I don't know. other black businesses, period. Like, I don't know. And I'm really curious to see what people's thoughts are about this. Can you really be mad at Urban Skin Solution? You know? Now, the husband, I don't know these people personally. And I'm not against, interracial relationships. I love everybody. And that's just me being politically correct on this podcast. But it does get tiring seeing, these black men go to these white women. The difference here in this particular case is that he's going for a bag. Now, who's to say if they're in love or not? If they are, great. If they're not, whatever. It's not my business. But he got a bag with her. Like, it's the same thing. It's literally the same thing as these white women who get with these basketball players who know that they would never even be with them if they weren't rich. It could be the same thing for this man who's marrying her. And I'm not saying that. So please don't come for me. I'm not saying that he's only with her for her money. But it could be the same thing. It really could be the same thing. Okay. So I think ultimately we have to do better with supporting our black businesses, myself included. As soon as my friend gets launched, I'm definitely going to have her on the show and support her with her products and try to push her products as much as I can from my platform. So can I be mad at Urban Skin Solution? I guess not. But I would love to hear what people think about that. Moving on swiftly and professionally. Here's something crazy, right? So I saw on TikTok where this is a reoccurring conversation, a reoccurring discussion about people splitting bills. Like, I used to go on a lot of vacations, right, with my friends, like female friends, and it was we would travel internationally, and when the check would come. When you first start traveling internationally, especially if you're in a large group, a lot of places don't split bills, okay? And I remember, I think I was in Mexico maybe with a group of people, and when the check came, we were like, okay, well, how much is yours? How much is yours? And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. But then I started noticing that as I began to travel more and more with groups of people, a lot of places internationally don't allow you to split checks. And when it comes time to split the check, it's this whole huge thing. A TikToker was saying how there was a bill, and I want to say the bill was for like $4,500 for a dinner. So where the hell y'all going to? I don't know. Cause I spent $300 on the Father's Day dinner. So that's a lot for just two people. Oof. I don't know why I did that. $4,500. And I want to say, if I could guess by looking at the table, it might have been maybe 10 people. Even if it was 10 people, that's still a lot. Now, don't ask me to do the math if it was 10 people. However, I don't want to pay for someone else's meal. And I don't know if it's a status thing, because I remember on an episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kenya made a comment when Drew wanted to split the check. She was like, oh, I don't split the checks, put it all on one bill. And maybe it's a status thing. But these people who are talking about it on TikTok, they look like a regular Joe Blow. Now, again, $4,500 for a meal, that's a lot of money. But people be capping and spending money that they don't have. So that's another thing. But I'm not at the socioeconomic level to where I want to pay for people's steak when I just had a salad. Now, I'm probably lying, because at the end of the day, like, if I'm lying and telling the truth. So thank God that I'm at a place where that wouldn't be the biggest deal for me to just split it. Like, it's not as if I don't have it, so I could do it. But is that fair to split the check if I'm having salad and you're having caviar, or if I'm having chicken and you're having a T-bone steak? Why am I paying for your food? Because we're all sitting at the same table. Now, when it comes to birthdays, because I've experienced this and I've heard this amongst a lot of conversation, when it comes to like people's birthdays and we're all at a birthday dinner, I feel like it goes without being said that the birthday person, girl or boy, should not be paying for their dinner. That's just my opinion. But But when it comes to splitting the check, I think that might need to be a conversation. That shouldn't be something that you just assume people can do. You never know what people's financial situation is. You never know, if somebody even has enough money to even be there and they're just there to support you. You just never really know. So I think if you're in a situation where it's your birthday or you're pulling people together, or whatever the case might be, and you guys are at a table, if it's something that's planned, that conversation should be had. I don't think it's fair to have that be an expectation or an assumption that, oh, well, duh, we're at a table, so we'll split the bill evenly. Like, I have been in situations, child. I remember, and I still have this message in my phone, or not in my phone because it wasn't recent, but in my Snap chat history to keep me humble, because I remember, it was a time. First of all my friends make good money. Everybody in my circle is doing really well financially, right? Now we'll say I'm like the youngest of my friends. So where they were making a lot of money and in much stabler family situations, I was still trying to find my way, still trying to find my career path. And so it would be times where, not with friends, but I can think of times where my money wasn't as high as people around me. And I remember a specific time where I think I had like maybe $20 for a week, like until I got paid on a Friday. And I remember texting my friend like, oh my God, girl, my coworker invited me to go out for lunch. And I was so afraid that what I ordered was going to be more than what I had to spend. Because they used to be going out for like 5-star meals at lunch. I'm like, y'all doing too much at the time, but now I get it. And I remember thinking my bill must have been like $16.43. And I remember texting my friend saying, I got $4 left for the rest of the week. I'm so happy. I was so happy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show, like, nobody looking at me would think that I had $20 to my name. You know what I'm saying? Nobody would, you never know. People put up a good front. You just never know. So I say all that to say that you definitely should not assume. Okay. Here's the thing. I saw something that said that a relationship expert said, when you're dating and you're single, you should be dating multiple people. Now I'm thinking, does it take a relationship expert to say this? Like, is this not a duh? But I'm thinking about conversations that I've had with my single friends, both now, currently, and just along the way. And you'd be surprised that people who are single do not, and a caveat, people who are single and don't want to be single and they're actually actively dating to find their person, they are not dating multiple people. And I'm just like, shouldn't that be a common sense thing? But I guess you shouldn't assume, right? When you're dating and when you're actively looking for a life partner, the kind of life partner that we talked about earlier, who is your person, who brings you peace, who you can be in love with, who you can say you're lucky to be with. When you're looking for that thing, and you're single, you should be dating several people at one time. And you should not be locking in nobody until you have vetted out everybody, and who makes it to the next round stays and who doesn't, bye-bye, right? I feel like when people are dating, they sometimes don't approach it like they should, right? In a perfect world, I'm going to go out to the grocery store, I'm going to go somewhere and just meet somebody random and fall in love in a perfect world. But it's not a perfect world. Like, things happen and you have to, it's a numbers game, right? So in our current society, men aren't even coming up to women all the time. Like, men, a lot of times I find, will look at you, stare you down in the grocery store, stare you down at a club just to stare you down. They know they want you. They know they want to get your number. They know they want to talk to you. They know they want to talk to you. They know they want to like meet you. They want to do all these things. But they're not going to approach you. You know what I'm saying? And so first of all, you shouldn't even want a guy like that, because if you're afraid to approach me, then you're not my kind of guy, right? But on the same token, like, it's numbers. Build up your roster. Like, it sounds kind of immature, and I've heard women say this about a roster, or men about a roster, and it sounds bad. But when you're looking for jobs, you don't just apply for one job and hope you get it. Like, you don't just apply for one job and hope you get it. You're applying for several, you're putting out a bunch of applications. If you know that you want to be a project manager, you're going to go and you're going to apply for several project manager jobs until you get the right one, or until you fetch, until that you put that line out into the ocean, and then whatever bites. Now, whatever bites, not literally, because you could have a million things bite, but they ain't of no quality. So you could put all your eggs in that one basket, and it turns out to be a nightmare, and then you're starting back over. But if you're building up a roster, then you can kind of maneuver in a more comfortable way. There's not as much pressure, because okay, well, if this didn't work with this person, then I got 5 more people ready for my date on Friday. Like, to me, that's just common sense. I think I had an episode about like the top dating tips. I think I need to revisit that, because that's important. And I've had a lot of dating experience, and I think that's a really good thing. Being a young woman, being a young Black woman, being a young single Black woman at the time, there's a kind of an art to dating. And I think some people just don't grasp the artistry of dating and trying to find the one. Listen, thank you guys so much for coming to my TED Talk. First episode since vacation, episode 31. 31 episodes. I'm very proud of myself, y'all. Listen, if anything looks weird, I got some new equipment that I'm testing out. So if anything looks weird with this episode, don't judge me. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Make sure that you follow me on social media. That's scary _podcast on Instagram. Email thatscarypodcast@gmail.com for any questions that you want brought up on the show. Make sure you're following my YouTube, because that's where all the action happens. I will see you guys next week. Thank you.